Hi friends, it is the day after the US Open gathering where I fought, and so I wanted to make a video as usual talking about my experience, the good, the bad, all that stuff. So here it is. There were 5 ladies there, which is amazing. In all the years that I've been spectating the US gatherings, I mean, I say all the years, I think it's been like 4 years. Not a lot of years, but a decent enough time, a decent number of gatherings. There's only been one lady that I've ever seen fight from the US, and no other ladies for her to fight. There's been a few gatherings where there were ladies visiting from Europe, but again, just one at a time. So it's very rare to have women at the gathering in general, and then to have 5 in one gathering was kind of amazing. So I was asked in May if I would fight in September, and then that lady also asked one of her training partners, and then I think some people saw that there were women signed up, and they got people that they trained with to sign up, and so it sort of snowballed from there. So there ended up being 5 of us. So it's good. There were lots of ladies to fight. The downside is, as the least extroverted of those ladies, I sort of got last dibs on everyone, and one lady fought 2 other ladies, and then she was done before I had a chance to even ask her. I think she left. I didn't even see her for the rest of the day. The 4th lady, I was actually told not to fight her. She was a very big, strong lady, and several of my friends were like, hey, you should fight her. You know, I know her. She's looking for fights. But the 2 people I train under now, my instructors, both full dog brothers, told me, no, don't fight her. And usually instructors are there to push you and get you out there and have more confidence in your abilities than you do because they want you to learn something. But if they told me not to fight her, then they think all I'm going to get out of it is injured and not any learning. And so I'm going to trust their wisdom. So I didn't fight her. Luckily, I don't feel too bad for her because she did get lots of other fights with other people. So that's good. That's good. Because I do empathize with the lady who doesn't know anyone who wants to fight and doesn't really know who to ask. But she got lots of fights, so that's cool. I ended up getting 2 fights, 1 sword and buckler and 1 double stick. The lady that I did the sword fight with, she did 1 stick fight, her first fight of the day, and then she was done with stick. She only wanted to do sword. So I didn't get a stick fight with her, but the sword and buckler was cool. I'll talk about that in a second. And then I got 1 double stick fight, and I will also talk about that. So my goal originally had been to get 3 stick fights. Out of 4 ladies to fight, 3 seemed good. But I only lined up 2 early on, and I figured I'd play it by ear in case I'm too injured. I don't want to set anything up and then have to back out. So, but then I didn't end up getting more. And I also lined up a knife fight and a banana fight, which didn't end up happening, which I'll also talk about. So the sword and buckler, which was my first fight of the day, she wanted to do swords. That's cool. I've never done swords. I have no sword sparring experience. I don't even know very many drills. I did a Kalos Illustrissimo seminar that was sword stuff like 3 years ago, and basically we did almost 90% of it was just like the numbering system, so very little sword stuff. But it was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it. She got a lot of good hit. My whole leg is striped with bruises. She hit my lead leg a lot, so I need to be in a square stance, I think, next time, and not so bladed. But I think I got some shots on her. I got her hand. I think I stabbed her in the face a couple times. Lots of hits to the bucklers, of course, because we both had those. I don't have a lot of buckler experience either, but I'm pretty happy with how it went. I don't know that I did especially great, but I'm happy with how I did. And I had a lot of fun, which is really important, so that's great. I wish I could have gotten a stick with her, but she didn't seem interested in doing any more stick, so, I mean, I can't force her. And then the other lady I got a double stick with, and she's the one who asked me in May. Now, I knew how that fight would go, because I had seen her earlier fights. I knew that she was training in BJJ and had grappling experience. And a couple of people told her she's bigger than me, and that was a factor, although I question if she was really bigger than me, at least by much. But I knew she would charge me, basically, and take me to the ground. And my goal was to stay on my feet as long as possible. Not just because I don't have grappling experience, but mostly because I'm there to stick fight. I want practice stick fighting. So my goal is to try to avoid getting taken down. So I'd hoped I would be able to stay on my feet for a while. I know some techniques. There's salty material. We'd worked on some techniques in class. I know them in my brain. But when you're out there and you're in lizard brain mode, like I couldn't have counted to 3. We had a couple exchanges, and then she took me to the ground. I probably didn't even last 20 seconds on my feet before we went down. She charged in as soon as she saw an opening and took me down. It was so quick, in fact, that they're like, let's reset it and you guys can start again. So we tapped in again and repeated the same thing, a couple exchanges, and then she took me right to the ground. So not great. I mean, obviously I did, from a skill level, I did very poorly in that fight. But it was a learning experience, and that is the other thing that I want out of the fights. And I still had fun and a good time, so I'm happy with that. So I'm happy with both of my fights. The only thing I am not happy with is that I only had 2. So, and I had lined up a knife fight with a guy that didn't end up happening, and I had lined up a banana fight with a friend, and he told me at the end of the day, he said, I'm too tired, I'm too out of it, I don't trust my control level, so let me give you a rain check and we'll do it next time. And he is the guy who will have 15 fights in one day. He just finishes and gets back in line. He has his partners wait in line for him while he's fighting the other guy, so that way he doesn't even have to go all the way to the end, so he can get those fights. And then at the end of the day, when there's like 4 guys left who are still fighting, it's because 3 of them are still fighting him, and he's just going one after the other. He's that guy, right? So for him to tell me that he was done and didn't want to do the fight, that meant he was done. So I didn't even get my banana fight, and I'm sad about that because I was so excited about the banana. So what I did is, in the waistband of my skirt, I took a big thick piece of elastic and I sewed it inside the waistband, like an inch apart between each seam, so that way I could tuck knives and bananas and stuff in there. So I had the banana on me all day, concealed on me all day. I also had a knife too. I had both. And I was just waiting for the opportunity to pull that banana, but unfortunately I never got the opportunity. My sword and buckler, we stayed on our feet the whole time. I had my sword the whole time, so that didn't do it. And then the time we went to the ground, it was over so quick that I didn't even have time to deploy. So yeah, I was kind of all banking it on that banana fight, and then I didn't get my banana fight. So yeah, okay, I take it back. I have 2 disappointments with the gathering. Is 1, I only fought 2 times, and 2, I didn't get my banana fight. And it was a little disappointing because, like, unlike at Europe, my first fight, I was super, super nervous in advance, like to the point where I was like hyperventilating in line, and I was very dizzy during the fight, which I know is not a good idea, but I wanted to do it while I had the nerve. And then I got hit in my arm in the same spot 3 times, so I had like no grip strength at all. It wasn't like a bad injury, but it was, my hand didn't work so good for a while. So I did the 1 fight, and then that was kind of all I could really do. And of course, I was also a little concerned. I'd flown out there for a vacation. The vacation was all after the gathering. I had non-refundable things booked. So like, I was a little concerned. I didn't want to push it too hard and be injured and not being able to enjoy my vacation. We don't take vacations very often, and flying to Europe is fucking expensive. So I wanted to, it was 2 years of savings. So I didn't want to blow it totally and break myself. So I played it cautious there. But this time I was in a good space. I was feeling good and feeling okay. I still had very bad nerves. I was still very nervous, but within a controllable level. Not like I'm gonna pass out or barf in my mask like the first time. I mean, I didn't sleep at all the night before. I was up all night worrying, but once I was there, I was pretty good. So I could have done more fights. And it occurs to me in hindsight that, like, the lady who was willing to stick fight me, she did stick fights with all the ladies. I could have asked her to fight again. I did a double stick with her. I could have asked her for a single stick. We could have done the same thing over. It probably would have all gone the same way, where we have a quick exchange and then she takes me to the ground. So maybe I wouldn't have gotten anything out of it, but I could have probably asked her for more fights and she probably would have said yes. But that didn't occur to me until, like, today, because, well, first off, you're not really thinking clearly there. You're very much in that fight frame of mind, but also, like, that's not something that guys ever do. Nobody fights the same person over and over again. Of course, they have a lot of people to choose from, and I don't. So probably I should have done that, but I wasn't really thinking about that, so I didn't do that. I could have been more aggressive about lining up blade fights with the guys, but I was nervous. I didn't really know people. I'm very shy, so other than the knife and the banana fight that I lined up that didn't happen, I didn't really do that either. And I would have fought the one other lady. In fact, she was actually, I think she's closer to my age versus the 2 ladies I did fight, who I am old enough to be their mother. Yeah. They were both very, very, very nicely. Everyone was so nice. Everyone is always so nice. But I would have liked to fight her, but I didn't. Again, I didn't see her. She fought really early on. She got right in line with the two girls I did fight, and did a fight with each of them, and then she disappeared. So that's how it went, and I'm excited to look forward to the next time I get to fight. I'm sad I kind of don't know when that will be. I hope it will be the Open next year, but I don't know. We'll see. So that is my summary of the gathering. Thank you guys for listening to my rambling, and I'll see you in the next video.